Ever wondered why children sometimes resemble one parent more than the other? In today's journey into the foundation of modern biology, we will explore the fascinating experiments of Gregor Mendel, the father of genetics, and uncover the secrets behind his discovery of the law of hybridization, also known as the law of dominance. Imagine a world where careful observation of something as simple as a pea plant could change how we understand life itself. This idea is as revolutionary today as it was in Mendel's time. Our story begins in the quiet confines of a 19th century monastery garden. Gregor Mendel, an Austrian monk with a curious mind, dedicated himself to the study of nature. With meticulous care, he cultivated pea plants, observing their every trait. His deep passion for learning and his methodical approach turned his garden into a living laboratory. At the time, science was just beginning to question the mysteries of heredity, and Mendel was determined to find answers. Mendel's experiments were not performed on a whim. They were the result of years of careful planning, observation, and record-keeping. Picture him, day after day, tending to his garden, noting the differences in plant height, flower color, and seed shape. His objective was clear: to understand how traits pass from one generation to the next. This was no ordinary research project. It was a quest to unlock the very blueprint of life itself. In the early stages of his work, Mendel focused on a process known as hybridization. Hybridization means crossing two plants that differ in one or more characters to observe the resulting mixture of traits. It is a fundamental process that underpins the creation of new combinations of characteristics in plants and animals alike. Mendel chose the humble pea plant for his experiments because they offered clear, easily observable traits. Their quick generation time and simple genetic makeup made them ideal subjects for his inquiries. Now, let us delve a little deeper into what hybridization looks like in practice. Mendel began by selecting two distinct strains of pea plants, one that exhibited tall growth and one that was notably dwarf. In this experimental setup, he identified the tallness as one clear trait and the shortness as its contrasting partner. His decision to work with these contrasting qualities was intentional. He wanted to see how these opposing traits would interact when combined. In his controlled garden, Mendel labeled the original plants as the parental or pea generation. He knew that by starting with pure lines, the tall pea plants bearing the genotype TT and the dwarf ones with the genotype TT, he could predict the traits of the offspring with more certainty. The clarity of these genetic identities allowed him to create a baseline for further experimentation. His careful planning meant that every planted seed was a deliberate step in a grand scientific narrative. With his pure tall and dwarf pea plants selected, Mendel set up the initial cross. He allowed the tall plant, TT, to pollinate with the dwarf plant, TT, a process that combined the genetic material of two very different organisms. When the cross was complete, the resulting offspring were labeled as the first filial generation, or F1 generation. At this point, Mendel's expectations were high. Many might have presumed that the offspring would show a blend of the two traits, resulting in a mix of tall and short plants. However, as the F1 generation began to grow, a surprising discovery was made. Every single plant in this new generation was tall. There was not a single dwarf plant among them. This unexpected uniformity in the trait of tallness presented a puzzle that challenged the initial assumption of a simple blend. The visual of every F1 plant standing proudly tall was both striking and mysterious. Here was a clear divergence from what some might have anticipated, and it created a scientific conflict between expectation and observable reality. At this critical turning point, Mendel formulated an explanation that would transform our understanding of heredity. He proposed what we now call the law of dominance. According to this law, when two contrasting traits are present in a hybrid, only one of the traits is expressed in the offspring. In his experiment, the trait of tallness, represented by the dominant allele T, was manifested, effectively masking the presence of the dwarf trait, represented by the recessive allele T. This discovery was profound because it revealed a predictable pattern of inheritance that was previously unrecognized in the natural world. To put it simply, in the cross between the pure tall and pure dwarf plants, the dominant trait overshadows the recessive trait, leading to a uniform appearance in the F1 generation. The tall characteristic was so powerful that it reigned supreme, leaving the short characteristic hidden beneath the surface. This observation was not just a curiosity, it was a key that unlocked the door to understanding how traits are transmitted across generations. Mendel's insight provided the first glimpse into the complex world of genetics and established the rules that would guide future scientific discoveries for generations to come. Imagine the feeling of discovery that Mendel must have experienced. Each day, as he peered through the simple act of cross-pollination and observed the consistent outcomes, he moved one step closer to formulating a set of rules that explained the mysteries of trait inheritance. His work was driven by and fueled by meticulous observation, and every pea plant in his garden contributed to a larger story. A story that continues to be told in every classroom and laboratory today. This narrative is more than just a recounting of events from the past. It is a reflection on the power of observation in science. Mendel's experiments remind us that sometimes the greatest insights come from the simplest of experiments. His discovery of the law of dominance did not just answer a question. It reshaped our understanding of biology and laid the groundwork for the field of modern genetics. Let us pause for a moment and reflect on the significance of this discovery. The surprise observation in Mendel's experiments, where all F1 offspring were uniformly tall, highlights an essential biological principle. It teaches us that nature often follows its own set of rules, rules that can be discovered through patience, careful study, and experimentation. These principles are not only foundational in biology, but also have a broader impact on how we perceive the inheritance of traits in every living organism. In the context of our everyday lives, think about how the characteristics of plants, animals, and even humans are determined by a complex interplay of genetic factors. The rule that one trait can dominate another, as seen in the majestic tall pea plant, offers a window into the broader mechanisms of life. It is a reminder that nature, in all its complexity, often follows elegantly simple patterns. As we continue our exploration, consider the idea that each offspring carries within them a legacy, a tapestry of traits passed down from previous generations. Mendel's discovery underscores that this tapestry is woven with threads of dominance and recessiveness, forming a pattern that can be observed and predicted. Whether in the striking uniformity of the F1 generation or in the intricate variety seen in later generations, the principles Mendel uncovered resonate through the ages. They speak to the enduring nature of scientific inquiry and the endless possibilities contained within the smallest living units, the genes. The beauty of Mendel's work lies in its clarity. By reducing the complex phenomena of heredity to a simple experiment with pea plants, he managed to capture the essence of how traits are passed on. His methodical approach demonstrated that even seemingly complex biological processes could be broken down into understandable parts. Every step of his experiment, from selecting pure strains to observing the unexpected uniformity in the F1 generation, was a testament to the power of curiosity combined with disciplined scientific inquiry. It is important to note that Mendel's success was not immediate recognition. His work was conducted in relative isolation, and the true value of his discoveries was only acknowledged many years later. Today, thanks to the tools and technologies of modern science, we can appreciate the genius behind his methodical experiments and the profound implications of his findings. His experiments serve as a cornerstone in the study of genetics, a field that has grown exponentially and now informs everything from medicine to agriculture. As we draw closer to the conclusion of our journey, let the simplicity and brilliance of Mendel's work resonate with you. Every time you see a pea plant, remember that beneath its simple exterior lies a story of scientific discovery. A story that speaks of meticulous observation, unexpected outcomes, and a revolutionary law that changed how we understand inheritance. Mendel's discovery of the law of dominance invites us to look closer at nature and to always question, explore, and marvel at the processes that shape life. Now, reflecting on the journey we have taken together, consider how one simple experiment sparked a revolution. Mendel's careful crossing of tall and dwarf pea plants did more than produce offspring. It produced a clear and reproducible pattern that has informed countless studies in genetics and heredity. His work teaches us that patience, careful design, and a willingness to follow where nature leads can reveal truths far greater than we initially imagine. This exploration into the world of genetics is not merely academic, it is deeply human. It touches on our innate desire to understand ourselves, our families, and the natural world around us. In every strand of DNA, in every inherited trait, there lies a piece of the story that Mendel began to write with a simple garden and a pair of contrasting pea plants. In closing, the significance of Gregor Mendel's experiments is profound. Through his pioneering work with pea plants, he laid the foundation for a field of science that continues to evolve and illuminate the mysteries of life. The law of dominance is a cornerstone concept that not only explains how traits are transmitted, but also offers a window into the elegant mechanics of life. As we stand on the shoulders of giants like Mendel, we are reminded that science is a journey of discovery, a journey that starts with curiosity and is driven by the relentless pursuit of understanding. Thank you for joining this journey into the heart of genetics. The legacy of Gregor Mendel lives on in every discovery in biology and every explanation we find in the natural world. Remember, great insights often come from the simplest observations. Explore the fascinating world of genetics by delving into Mendel's groundbreaking experiments and discover how they continue to influence our understanding of heredity today.